What's up? This is Richie from the Where We Wild YouTube channel, and today I'm going to give you guys what I think are some of the best swim baits for you to buy if you're just starting out swim bait fishing. Let's get into it. All right, so you decided to get into big swim baits, did you? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Take out a loan, kid. Take out a loan. They're like potato chips. You get one, you need more. It's bad, it's dangerous. It's a slippery slope, but hopefully I got a few ideas here for you that'll help narrow it down, help you not make some of the mistakes I did when I first started out. You know, when I first started out, you know, I was finding like really cheap ones on Amazon thinking, well, that looks just as good. This looks, you know, just as good as this really expensive one. No, there's a reason why this one's more expensive, all right? There's just quality baits and there's not quality baits. So don't fall into that trap of like buying like a ton of swim baits right off the bat, like Amazon or here and there, wherever, that's like 10 bucks or whatever, because you think it looks just as good as the ones that are expensive. I mean, you're gonna end up a couple months down the road realizing that those aren't worth your time. Swim bait fishing, actually getting bit can be very hard and very frustrating, and you're gonna have to put a lot of time in and grind. That's just the way it is, man. I mean, depending on where you fish, you know, the size of the fish that are in your lake, stuff like that, but that's the other thing here. We're not trying to catch little 2 and 3 pound chunkers. I mean, that's awesome. I'll take a 3 pound chunker all day, every day. But when you're tying on a big swim bait, you're trying to attract the biggest fish in your lake, plain and simple. That's why you're doing this. You're not doing it to catch numbers. You're doing it to catch the biggest fish in your lake. The drawing power of a big 8, 10 inch glide bait, getting that giant to just come out of the depths and just explode on it, whether it be a largie, a smallie, striper, you know, northern pike, whatever it is that you're out there trying to throw swim baits for, you're trying to catch the biggest fish in your lake. And these are the baits that can catch them. And you want to take care of those fish, man. You know, get your picture, get your measurements, get your weight, whatever, and get that fish back in the water as safe and as unstressed as you possibly can. I mean, you want the genes of that fish to be in your lake for generations to come. You want them to produce other quality bass or quality pike or whatever it is, but you want them to produce other quality fish for years, for your kids, for their kids. You know, that's what it's about, man. That's the type of fishing that I'm all about. You know, certain fish like, you know, striper up by me, that's a different story. You know, they're invasive. There's a million of them. You know, you can keep those, you can make tacos, go nuts, that's awesome. But when it comes to like largies, I don't play that game, dude. Like, that is a special trophy fish to me. And especially when you get up into that 7+ pound range and, you know, obviously double-digit range, those are special fish and they deserve to be taken care of. So all I ask in return, if you catch a fish from any of this information that I'm giving you today, just do me a favor, take care of that fish, man. That's all I ask. It's a big deal. All right, so let's get into this. I'm gonna try to keep it as fast as possible. I'll link a lot of the information on the screen for you so I don't have to take time to look up certain things right on the fly like this. I'm not gonna be able to remember the exact weight of each bait. I'll come close, but I might not get everything perfect. So I'll write everything down on the screen for you, prices, stuff like that. And then I'll do my best to link everything that I mentioned in the video description. So let's go, let's get into it. The first bait that I wanna talk about here is a very popular one. Ow, God, look at that. Look at this right here. Look at that. We'll talk about hook upgrades later. Wow. Well, are my hook upgrades any good? I think so. All right, I'm back. Jeez. All right, so I'm gonna be a little bit more careful with these baits for the rest of the video. Now, the first one I grabbed got me. That's how sharp these hook upgrades are, man. So this is the River2Sea S-Waver. Oh man, that got me. First bait I picked up stuck me. How about that? These hooks are no joke, dude. So be very, very careful when you're doing this stuff. Changing hooks out, changing split rings, everything like that. When you're fishing with these things, you be very, very careful because they will get you. River2Sea S-Waver 168, very popular bait. Comes in a million different colors. This one, obviously, I was just trying to match some giant shad, but you can get, you know, a trout pattern, a bluegill pattern, you know, perch, whatever you're going for, they're gonna have a color for it. It's a pretty simple bait to fish. You can just cast it out, reel it in nice and slow. You know, you can do half cranks, change the cadence and speed up, kind of get it going, you know, stop and go, work the tip of your rod. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can fish this bait, and it's not gonna break the bank either. I think it's around $20, $25. So great option, get you going. River2Sea S-Waver 168. They have a bigger one that you can buy as well, but the 168 is a great place to start right there. And it got me good. It got me good. Unbelievable. All right, next up, we have the Storm Arashi Glide. This one is under $40, I believe. By the way, that S-Waver is under 2 ounces. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it's one of the lighter baits on this list. This one, you're coming up on 3 1/4 ounce, something like that, maybe 3 1/8 ounce. The Storm Arashi Glide also comes in a bunch of cool colors. This is a 7.5 inch long bait. It's gonna come with these 360-degree rotating eyes, which I really, really like. So the reason why I like those so much is when you hook a fish with this and they start thrashing and freaking out, they can twist that treble hook off. But when these are being able to rotate 360 degrees, that really cuts down on that, which is awesome. I don't know why all swimbaits don't have that. I think I said that in another video once before. It's just a really good technology to have on a glide bait. The other thing that you're gonna notice when you get this bait, I always rip all the stock stuff off and put sharper hooks on, obviously. Whew. And better split ring, stuff like that. This bait likes to come with a snap on that line tie. Get rid of that. The second you get the bait, get rid of it, cut that thing off, and put yourself, get yourself rather, a nice heavy duty split ring. Maybe a size 4, size 5 SPRO power split ring. That's what I like to use right there. A lot of guys like the snaps. I know it's easy to, you know, change baits. You know, you don't have to retie and everything, but I've seen those things come apart, man. I've seen them open up. I've seen fish get lost. I've seen baits go flying, sink down to the depths. Get rid of it, in my opinion. You do what you want to do, but if I'm getting this bait right out of the box, that snap is gone, and I'm replacing it with a size 4 or size 5 SPRO power split ring. And speaking of replacing things, I don't care who makes the bait, I'm taking the hooks off and the rings off. Second I get it. I don't care who it's from. I just don't even care. I mean, some companies put some real quality hooks and rings on their stuff, but I just don't care. Like, I need to know that that hardware is gonna be strong. So I immediately change all the hooks and all the rings out. I go with the SPRO power split rings, just like I mentioned for the front of this bait. And I usually go with owner ST36 hooks, or sometimes ST56 hooks, which are stronger, thicker wire, and in rare occasions up to a 58, which is ridiculously strong. And that's what I'll use for like some of my big striper baits, because those things are insane and they'll bend you out for sure. So, yep, as soon as I get it home, no snap, all new split rings, brand new hooks, high quality stuff. Because listen, man, here's the thing. You're gonna grind, all right, with these swim baits. You're gonna grind. It's not gonna be super easy where you think, like, if you're thinking you're gonna get bit every time out on a swim bait, I mean, you very well might, depending on where you live, but it's a grind. You can fish for months and not get a bite. And you know, it's because you're targeting giants. You're trying to get the biggest fish in your lake. So when that moment finally comes, you don't want anything to go wrong. Like, I mean, you're gonna work so hard to get that bite, and to have it break your heart over something stupid like a snap or a stock hook that wasn't strong enough or whatever it may be aware of taking away those opportunities to go wrong. The more you have set up to be right and to go right, you know, that's what you want here, because you're not messing around with these fish. Like, it's not like catching a fish on a drop shot and then, you know, fighting them and playing with the drag and enjoying it. And wow, look at him, he's screaming, you know, the real screaming. This is so fun. No, you're gonna get a swim bait fish to bite, and you're just gonna crank like there's no tomorrow, man. You're gonna muscle them in as fast as you can. Do not let up for a second, because they will throw you. I've had it happen. I've lost fish like that because I took my foot off the gas. Cannot do it. Just grind them to the boat, get them there as fast as you can, get your trophy picture, get your measurements, get your weight, get the fish gone back in the water. That's the game right there. So if your hooks aren't strong enough, if your rings aren't strong enough, if your line ain't right, whatever it is, your rod ain't right, you're gonna miss that fish of a lifetime and you're never gonna forgive yourself. So just make sure you got quality stuff going on in your favor and just eliminate all the points of failure. That's all I'm gonna say. I know that was a little bit of a rant, but it's a big deal, man. Big deal. Next up, we got one from one of my favorite companies. They make some amazing stuff and they're really good people who run this company right here. And this one is the Baitsanity Antidote. This is a great bait to get you started, man. It's very affordable. I think it's under $35 if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, $32.99 right now on Tackle Warehouse. It is 7.5 inches long, and I believe it's under 3 ounces. Yeah, 2.7 ounce. This is a great glide bait, dude. I was fishing with this thing not that long ago, and an osprey came flying out of the sky and tried to grab this thing on me. So you know it looks real if a bird tries to take it away from you. This is a very, very sick bait that won't break the bank. Really cool colors it comes in. Has a great glide action to it. You know, it sinks. And this is just a great starter glide bait for anyone who's getting into it. I obviously always replace the hooks on all this stuff. I think I got a size 1 and a size 2 on this thing. 2 up front. I'm sorry, 1 up front and 2 in the back. And the heads on these things, these kind of like to raise up a little bit in the water. So adding the bigger hook in the front kind of helps keep that head down a little bit. So great bait, dude, from Baitsanity. One of my faves, the Antidote. Really sick. And just so you guys know here, all these baits I keep in these stackable pencil boxes. Super cheap. They stack up like this. And it's just kind of like having, you know, a grab and go system. So if you want to go, you just, oh, okay, I want the Arashi glide right in your bag. You don't have to worry about anything getting hooked up. You don't have to worry about bait wraps, and you can just store them just like that. I put a little silica gel packet in each one. That way, you know, keeps the hooks from rusting out, keeps the moisture out of there. It's a great way to go about storing your swim baits. What else? Next up, sticking with glide baits, we got a G-Ratt Sneaky Pete. Great bait, dude. I think it's around $35. This is the 8-inch. It also comes in a 10-inch, which is called the Papa Pete. And it also comes in like a 5 and change, around 6-inch, called the Pistol Pete. I believe it's around 2.5 ounces, something like that. But this is a great glide bait, man. They have awesome action. You can see how big that pivot is there and that notch, which helps it give a nice wide glide. Definitely a good choice if you're just getting started. Won't break the bank, comes in a bunch of cool colors, and yeah, man, I know for sure these get bit as well. G-Ratt, Sneaky Pete. All right, so those are a few smaller glide baits that are really, really good to get started, but if you're gonna jump up to a bigger glide bait, I got one for you right here. Actually, I got 2 for you, but they're the same bait. This is the Baitsanity Explorer Gen 2. And these are a little bigger. These are around 9 inches, 5 ounces. You're gonna need a serious rod to throw this bait. This thing is much heavier than the other baits that I've mentioned so far. These are sick, dude. This is the steelhead color, I believe, and this is the raw color, which is pretty sick. Pretty sick. Some big old hooks on this thing too, man. It's no joke. I think I got owner ST36s on there, size 2-aught. They are no joke sharp, and they'll get you. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Baitsanity. They make some awesome stuff, and this is pretty much the one that put them on the map, I think, right here. This is a big boy. I like throwing these for, you know, big striper, stuff like that. Really sick action, man. Really, really nice. Wide glide action, very, very cool. It's a hard body bait. It's got a soft, changeable tail that you can, oh man, it's so easy to catch yourself on these hooks. You can just flick this little button here and you can lift up on this and you can change the tail. It comes with one replacement, which is sweet, but you can get different colors, different styles. And yeah, dude, this bait is no joke right here, man. This thing has caught a lot of fish for a lot of people. So don't be shy about this one. This one is a little more expensive, but still under $100 and definitely a great option right here. The Baitsanity Explorer Gen 2. Very cool bait. And just be forewarned, if you're changing the tail out on this thing, it can be a little stuck sometimes, and like it'll slip out of your hand like when you're trying to be forceful with it, and you'll really stick yourself. So I would recommend, if you're gonna change the tail out, take the hooks off the bait first. I almost got myself pretty bad once trying to change the tail out, because they get stuck and you put a lot of pressure on them. When it finally breaks loose and you pop it out of there, you know, your hand can slip into these hooks really fast, and yeah, that's dangerous. So right there, Baitsanity Explorer Gen 2, right there, baby. 1, 2, 3, like 4 more for you. Let's talk, we'll stick with Baitsanity here, and it's also an Explorer Glide, but it is their Explorer Gill Glide. And this thing is one of my favorites, man. It comes in a slow sink, comes in a floating. If you're only gonna get one, I would get the slow sink. It is a ridiculous bait. Baitsanity Explorer Gill, right here, man. This is the jungle perch color. Caught a couple really nice fish on this thing. It comes in so many colors. This thing is around $65, I believe. Also, the same technology as the big Explorer with that replaceable tail. Comes with a few extra tails in the box, this one. And this one actually has the 360-degree eyes. The bigger one doesn't have that, but this one does. This is by far, this is probably my favorite swim bait. I think it is. I really do. It's just so sick, man. It comes with this, you know, normal tail here, which is soft, and you can replace it, but you can totally order a paddle tail for it. Hook that thing right on, gives it a completely different action, and it comes in a bunch of colors. You need to, you know, the water gets real muddy, throw a chartreuse tail on there. Like, you can do a bunch of different things with this bait, but man, this thing gets hammered. It is an awesome bait. And I think on this bait, for the hook upgrades, I also have a size 1 and a size 2 on here. Size 1 up front, 2 in the back, and I think they're owner ST56 hooks, which are a little thicker. But yeah, dude, this is one of my faves for sure. I also have it in the floating, and I have another one of their specialty tails on this one. I forget the exact name of this one, but yeah, this is pretty sick too. This is kind of more like a wake bait, almost, the floating version. Just kind of stays right under the surface there. It looks sick. So all these colors are ridiculous, man. Obviously, this is just the bluegill color. And this one, like I said, is jungle perch. So if you're trying to imitate, you know, crappie, maybe baby bass, something like that, you know, just match your hatch, man. These are amazing baits, dude. Amazing. All right, so sticking with some gill baits here, I got one more for you, and it is the Jackall Gantarel. This is the Gantarel Jr, actually. It's, I guess, like 5 inches long, and it's, what, about 1.5 ounces. So it's much smaller than its big brother. You don't even need a swim bait rod for this one, really. You can throw it on, you know, a much lighter rod, being such a small bait. But this thing's sick, dude. You can hook it up from here, you can hook it from here, you know, use it as a wake bait, get it to dive down a little bit. So check that out. Jackall Gantarel Jr. If they're feeding on bluegill where you're from, that's a good option right there. One more hard bait for you, and then we're going to talk about a couple of the soft ones. This is a SPRO BBZ. This is an old bait, man. I actually found this bait. This one is not your glide bait, okay? This one is a multi-joint bait, so it has an S action. Kind of the way it swims in the water. Comes at you like that. It's pretty sick. These things definitely get bit, man. Just crank, 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 stop, crank, 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 stop, crank, 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 stop. Just really erratic with that S. It just makes it look like a trout is trying to freak out and escape, and it really causes a cool reaction bite. So these brand new are going for $47, I believe, on Tackle Warehouse. And this is the fast sink version. It's just called the SPRO Swimbait. And this is 8-inch. Weighs around 5 ounces. And it's got that cool snaking action, which is really gonna cause some reaction strikes. Stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. And once again, with all these baits, man, you're just matching your hatch. That's it. You got trout swimming around in that lake, you get a trout pattern. You got bluegill, you're matching bluegill. You got big old shad, you're matching the shad. All right, so let's move on to some soft baits here. I got 2 of them for you. Well, 3 of them technically, but 2 of them are the same kind. They're just different sizes. And it is the Megabass MagDraft. These things are very, very popular. They're much cheaper than any of the other baits on this list, and that's because they're soft and they can break on you. You know, they can only catch so many fish before they get too beat up. This 8-inch is, I think, around $25 here. Weighs around 3 ounces. It's got that big old treble hook that sticks in the belly. It's got a magnet there. Sometimes that magnet really doesn't do its job, so you want to like stick the hook in there. Yeah, that's the 8-inch. So if you got some bigger fish you're trying to go after, you can go with that 8-inch or even jump up to the 10-inch. And then you got the 6-incher. That weighs about 1 1/4 ounce, and that's about $15 right there. So 15 bucks for the 6-inch, 25 bucks for the 8-inch. And I upgrade these hooks obviously too. This is a Owner ST36 2-aught on that thing, which is a big hook, dude. Big hook. And I think on the 6-inch, I got a size 2, I believe, and that's an ST56, I believe. MagDraft, Megabass, definitely worth being in your arsenal right there. And last but certainly not least, we have the Huddleston Deluxe 8-inch ROF 12. This one's brand new, obviously, in the package. It's my spare in case I lose it. They're not that expensive, you know, 35 bucks, I mean, but they are sick, man. Here's the one that's got a lot of time in the water. It's got teeth marks all over it. Has got some really nice bites, man. These things are classic baits, just with that jig style hook right there, and you're just gonna cast this thing out, let it drop to the bottom, and just slowly creep it in, and this big tail here is just gonna do the work for you. Bop, 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 bop. It's so sick. When you see these things in the water, it's gonna blow your mind, dude. If you don't have one of these, you're missing out. Definitely grab one. Sweet bait, dude. All right, real fast, I just want to give you a rod and reel recommendation. I've mentioned this in several other videos, but I am a big fan of the Dobyns Fury 806 swim bait rod. 8-foot, heavy swim bait rod. Great option to just get you started into swim bait fishing. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. They also have a 1 to 5 ounce Dobyns Fury. So if you're planning on throwing lighter stuff, that may be a good option for you. But the 2 to 8 ounce swim bait rod is great because, you know, you can throw the lighter stuff on it, but you can also grow into it and start throwing bigger stuff on it as well. So great all around swim bait rod. I think it's like $140-ish. That thing has been awesome for me, man. I've been fishing with it for a few years now, and it is a beautiful rod for the money. Sensitive, comfortable, strong. Thing loads up. It's just a great rod for 140 bucks. I'm sure you can find other ones even cheaper. The SLX swim bait rod I think is around 100 bucks. I hear good things about that, but that Dobyns Fury, man, I can tell you from experience, great choice. I'm so happy that I got that thing. I've loved every second of using that rod. As far as a reel goes, I have the Shimano Cardiff 401. I have the Shimano Cardiff 301. Both very affordable reels, I think also around $130, $140. Both great options, dude. The 300 is just a little smaller than the 400. So if you're gonna be using, you know, really heavy mono, you might wanna go with the 400. But I think the 300 is a great choice. It can handle, you know, plenty of line, especially if you're going a little lighter. You don't need like, you know, that much room. You're not throwing like 50-pound mono, but 25-pound, 30-pound mono, plenty of room. And especially if you go down to braid, you know, or fluoro, whatever, you're good on that 300. So Shimano Cardiff, great option. You know, one little tick up there in price, probably around $200 would be the Shimano Corrado 300. I hear really good things about that reel. I definitely have my eye on that, and I'd like to get one of those. I'm probably gonna try to score one, you know, on sale here and there, something like that. And then you can spend up even more and get a Tranx. They're even more pricey, you know, or you can maybe find one on eBay or something like that. But to start out, I think that Cardiff is a great option. That round reel, it's got that low gear ratio, which you're gonna need for swim baits. You definitely want a low gear ratio, you know, 4.7, 5.2, 5.8, 6.6 max, in my opinion. Some guys like to go up higher, you know, but I think you want that real low end. You want that torque. You want to be able to really muscle fish in, and you want to have the reel also keep you from going too fast. Like with that Huddleston, it is boringly slow. Boringly slow. Like if you think you're going too slow, you go slower. Like it's just boring. Let it drop all the way down and just slowly creep it in. As far as line goes, I like to, I keep it simple, man. I'm kind of a budget oriented guy, especially when it comes to line. I like Berkley big game. I use 25 pound to 30 pound, mostly, you know, 30 pound on my bigger stuff and 25 pound, even 20 pound on the smaller stuff, but 25 pound is a great all around line, I think, for all this stuff. I've pretty much handled everything on 25 pound line. So I like having that stretch. A lot of guys don't like mono, you know, they like that no stretch in the braid. They like the fluoro because it sinks faster, but I'm a big fan of old school mono, man. It gets it done. I like that stretch. It's very abrasion resistant, and it's cheap. You know, that Berkley big game, dude, I got it on all my stuff, to be honest with you. I got it all the way from 10 pound all the way up to 30 pound on all kinds of different techniques. If I need that no stretch on a frog setup, you know, obviously I'll go braid. If I need to drop down way faster on a certain setup, you know, I'll go fluoro. You know, certain situations dictate different lines, but I've been able to get away with the mono, and I know a lot of guys that use mono around where I live, a lot of friends. So yeah, don't shy away from that, man. It's a great way to get you started. 25 pound Berkley big game on a Shimano Cardiff 300 or 301, depending on if you're lefty or righty, and that Dobbins Fury, you know, 806 8-foot heavy swim bait rod. Great little setup right there, man. It served me really well. I use it all the time, and I'm really pleased with it. So there you go, man. Those are some of my favorite baits that I think are actually worth your money and worth your time. Definitely run out and grab them. You know, don't go nuts. You don't have to buy all of them. Just start out with one or two, get some confidence in one, try to get a bite on one, you know, and then just start building up the arsenal. I will link everything in the description. I'll try to find some on Amazon. I'll definitely find some on Tackle Warehouse. Definitely compare the prices. You know, some may be cheaper on Amazon, some may be cheaper on Tackle Warehouse, but I think coming up here on like November 21st or something, if you see this video by then, I think swim baits are going to be on sale on Tackle Warehouse for their Black Friday extravaganza. So definitely pick some up then. That's always great to get these things at a cheaper price, that's for sure, because they can definitely get really expensive, man. Don't lose your mind. Don't take out a loan, like I said, but just grab one or two, gain some confidence, and go put some time in. But, you know, be warned, dude, it's a grind. You know, don't make no mistake about it. It's a grind. You're going to be out there. You're going to put a lot of time into this stuff. You may get lucky right off the bat. It may stoke you up, or you may grind for months without even getting a follower or a bite, and just be prepared for that. You know, but you got to commit to it. If you want the more you commit to these things, the better chance you're going to have at getting bit. It's just the way it is. So you go out there, you take your drop shot rod, you take your swim bait rod, you're gonna get frustrated with the swim bait, you're gonna pick up the drop shot, and then, you know, you just kind of lose interest. So just take your swim bait rod out there. Totally focus on it. That's gonna give you the best chance to get a swim bait bite. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and if you're into this sort of thing, don't forget to hit subscribe. We put a new video out every single week. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Later. If you want to see more videos just like this one, be sure to check out the rest of the Where We Wild YouTube channel, where we post a brand new video every week. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notified whenever we post a new adventure. Thanks for watching.
See ya.